Why don't we get rolling here? I want to thank Mike from REIToken for joining us. This is his second time on our live and in person, and I was in a space with him not too long ago, and they've got some like great developments that they've been working on. I felt, as well as he, that it was a good time to have him come back on and share what they're doing. So with that, Mike, the floor is yours, buddy.
Hey Scott, thanks again for having us. You were actually our first AMA for this project, and I can't even remember when that was exactly. I think it was 3.5, 4 months ago. I think that's when we started, and that was our first AMA with you. So thank you for being the first one to host us. That was really amazing. And so we're here.
I will stop you. It's not really an AMA. This is an introduction to our community, is how we look at it. So we like to record the space and let as many people, listen to it, because we have people from all over, the world that are part of our project that may not get the chance to listen to this till tomorrow morning. But I feel strongly that people should diversify. They should not just hold one project. They should, look at a lot of projects. And our goal with this is to introduce solid projects like yourself to our community and to everyone in Twitter. So we appreciate you more so, I think, than you think.
No, I appreciate that. The introduction, that's I stand corrected. It is an introduction, and diversifying is very important, no matter what it is that you're doing in life. I think people should be diversifying with different type of investment, not just in crypto and different project in crypto, right? You should have some investment, real estate, stocks, crypto, businesses, other things in life that you can think of that creates income. Diversifying is super, super important in life, no matter what it is. So I stand by that thoroughly. And so since the last time we were on your channel here, we have launched our token on January 10th, 2022. And I was actually in England at the time, and we did decide to do like, you know what? No matter what, we're gonna launch it. And I remember it was like 1 o'clock in the morning in England, and the day after that, I was attending a wedding, so I ended up staying up all night. I'm pretty sure Scott, you know how that goes. Um, you
Yeah.
have done this yourself with your token as well, and there was no sleep involved, but our launch went very, very well. I think we had a small little hiccup, which is not even worth mentioning, but overall there was no bot attacks. Everything went as smoothly as possible. We launched our staking pools within 2 or 3 days after that, which is amazing, which is also done by Brew Labs for 90-day staking pools and 30-day staking pools. And what's amazing is that over 10% of our entire supply right now staked in the 90-day pool right now, which is amazing. And nearly 6% is staked in the 30-day pool. So we have total of 16% of the entire supply staked right now, and they're not moving anytime soon, which is really nice. And the fact that people believe in this project and they have faith in us, that's just tremendous. And they know what we're trying to do. Um, we did not 100x, 1000x like some project may promise, and we never promised that to our investor, because this is a long-term project and it's going to take time. It's going to take time to come to exactly what it can become in the future, with the securities token in the future and partnerships that we're working on. And partnership that we're working on right now, it's going to take time, and we're in talks with different mortgage companies, different real estate companies, different real estate influencers in the not just real estate crypto space, but in general. I don't want to say any names just yet until that actually happens. So all those are going to come to play sooner than I would we're hoping for initially, but which is great. Well, we're looking forward to that, but it's going to take time. So we have been moving sideways for the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is good, consolidating in a way, right? I don't think a technical analysis quite applies to a newer project like ourselves just yet. We do need to get more volume for our project though, and that is something we're working towards. We're working towards marketing. We're working towards marketing the Asian market, that one market that we haven't tapped into just yet. So we are working on different avenue of marketing for our project. If you haven't seen our articles that came out, I think it was published to 519 different news channels on the internet. It was published, and if you guys haven't seen it, I will pin it here shortly. So, which was really nice to see. So, we wanted to get this word out to as many people as possible regarding our project and what it is that we're trying to accomplish in the future. And our securities token, that process will begin very soon, and that's going to take another 9 to 12 months. We're hoping it's going to be less at this point, because when we started, that was going to be 12 months from that time frame. So before next summer, we're hoping to have that launch our foundations for down payment assistance program, and also the clean renewable energy program is also going to be running by 2023. We're hoping for either first or the second quarter. Now, it could be much earlier than that, but that's what we're shooting for right now. I would rather say much later and get it done much earlier than possible. So those are some of the things that we're up to at the moment. We have had some challenges, but just like any crypto project right now is being challenged with. The market is still somewhat soft, but we do see some projects are doing amazing. Just like Jigsaw, War Pigs, and I think TRT. They're also doing very good right now, and so we're happy that we're among these other projects. We're growing together. So right now, even though it's a bear market, and I will take this word directly from Crypto Dicto. He mentioned it once. This is a builder's market, and that's what we're doing. We're building, even though we may not look like we're doing much, but we're building behind doors. And just like you are, Scott, I'm sure you know how that is when you're making sure everything is going to happen, but it takes time. But you're working on it, and whether it takes a few days to a few weeks, it will happen.
Yeah, and that's I first don't like cutting anybody off, and you went over so much there. But no, I agree with you. This is a builder's market, and I'm not sure if I heard that from Dicto first or who I heard it from, but I love that term because the projects that are sticking it out and pushing through whatever is thrown at us, I mean, we're building. We're moving forward. We're getting things done. Like REIToken, you guys are progressing. You're not, standing idly by while, you watch the chart do whatever it's going to do. And that's what's good about a lot of the projects that you mentioned there. TRT, Jigsaw, Brew Labs. I mean, they're all developing during this time. They're not standing and waiting to see what happens next. And that's what I like about what you're doing with REIToken. I think it's fantastic. I like the whole idea to begin with. I remember when I first heard about your project. I'm an avid. I hold many REITs in my stock portfolio, and I really like them a lot. I like the whole idea behind them. It's a way to invest in real estate without actually owning property and reaping the rewards. So I'm a big advocate for them. But let's jump back a little bit because you went over so much there. Let's break that down. And I forgot my train of thought there because you asked me a question. But let's go back to the chart and moving sideways. And moving sideways versus moving down is two different things. Moving sideways means that you've created a floor and that floor is holding strong. And it's just a matter of when volume is going to come. And volume comes through different avenues. And, personally, I believe in, you know, continually showing that we are producing. We're coming up with, new innovative ways to expand this space. And when we do, and we release that, it pumps that floor because it brings in new investors, right? And it brings up to a new floor. And, so I think with, people looking at a chart that's moving sideways, I don't think that's something to be scared of. I think during this market, that's something to be encouraged by, because if a project is moving sideways, you know, it's going to go up. It's not going to go down unless the team flakes out. And, your team, like ours, is fully transparent. I mean, you've got some, real, real heavy hitters in your corner. I don't know if you want to share who they are and what they do for your project.
Yeah, no, thanks, Scott. So we're not too worried about the chart right now, even though, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see the chart continue to go up, just like any investor would, right? But I think we need a little more time to mature on this in the space to be able to get that. And just like you said, volume will come. Regardless, it's just a matter of time. And I think when the market shifts a little bit, we'll definitely flourish on that quite a bit. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but we hope rather sooner than later. Um, as far as the team goes, so you have myself, who is a real estate agent in California. Then we have two other real estate agent who's also in California and that works in the Palm Springs area as well. And their background is also coming from medical background as well. So they've been in the medical industry for almost 30 plus years before they entered the real estate world. Then they have been in the real estate world for the last 7 to 8 years, and I've been doing real estate for the last 18 years now. And so the fourth member is actually a state senator from North Dakota, and he has a tremendous background in business, just a business itself, and in life. And he'll be the first person to tell you. I wish he could have been here today, but where he is a bit late. Where we are, it's only 6 p.m., so it works out for us. But he's in North Dakota right now. So he's been a state senator for almost 40 plus years right now in North Dakota. So he brings lots of knowledge to the space, especially when it comes to business. And he also talks about quite a bit how North Dakota is moving forward with digital currency as possible. They're trying to create the biggest mining facility for Bitcoin as we speak. And one of the things that he mentioned is that because of the where they are, it's much cooler, so they could have bigger facilities that doesn't require that much energy to run because of the cooling system. So, which is super amazing to hear. He is a bit of a, he's in his early 70s, but the amount of knowledge that he brings into this space, even though in the crypto world, he's not the most knowledgeable person, but we need expertise on everything else in life, and that's where he comes into play. And the other two members that we have right now, they're actually working on the foundation on the for this particular project that's going to be launching in January, so somewhere between first and second quarter of 2023. And they're both working on the foundations as we speak. And my job is to mainly to make sure everything else is running properly, overseeing everything, the marketing aspect of it. And yeah, so all that is quite a bit. I might have skipped. Was there another question that I forgot to answer, Scott? I think you asked something else.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, you have a pretty adamant team of transparent people that are heavy hitters. And you mentioned with especially like the senator, he's got a lot of life experience but not a lot of experience in crypto. Well, I don't know that any of us have a lot of experience in crypto. I mean, we may have been in it, even if you got in it from the very beginning. It is
Right.
evolving so much that, and the utility that is coming out is changing almost on a daily basis. That we're all essentially students, so you can pick it up, and with the right guidance from people like yourself, you know, you can learn it and, you know, evolve with the space. And, you know, they said it many times before where you have, we're pioneers, right? You know, they're going to look back 100 years from now and see who the founders of crypto were. And, you know, we didn't create Bitcoin or Ethereum, but if we can create a solid project that does good overall and succeeds in our efforts, I mean, we're essentially going to be listed in those, you know, files, right? And you know, that's all we can do is progress, follow through with what we claim we're doing, and proceed. But yeah,
Absolutely.
so yeah, but you know, my other thing was on your the chart moving sideways. I was just commenting on that. It wasn't really a question. It was just more of a statement that, you know, a bear market like this proves that if your chart is holding steady with a sideways pattern and isn't really going up or going down, you've created a floor. And the next development should increase that floor to that next level. And, you know, that's what it sounds like you're doing. I mean, you're continually working and you have so much stuff coming out. And I'm excited to see, you know, what partnerships you have and how that's going to pan out.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you know the partnership I'm very excited about. When as soon as we're allowed to announce them, we will. We're waiting for some final approval from some of the corporate offices, which is super exciting. You know, those are the kind of meetings that I love going to and getting those kind of answers. And you know, more and more that I talk to some of these corporations, especially you know related to real estate and mortgage industry. You know, I think if I talked to them 2 years ago, they probably wouldn't have even talked to me about crypto at all. Uh, and I still get that from some companies. Don't get me wrong. I think it's the individuals, but majority of the conversations I'm having today, they're more interested being involved than not because they do understand where we're going with this today, right? I don't know if you saw the news today where Coinbase was partnering up with the what's it called, Black, I forget, uh, the investment company. They have lots of institutional investors. They're partnering up with Coinbase Prime to be able to invest in crypto going forward, right? And so in our industry, how they can get involved and make a change.
yeah, you were breaking up there quite a bit. Didn't catch
Oh,
quite all of that. I don't know if it was just me, if it was for everybody. Uh, but no, and I did catch enough of it, and you know, I think it is something that we're going to see more massively adopted. Is, you know, how crypto is used in real life. You know, there's the local gas station by me, and you know, you were saying earlier where you're from, and I'm from Pennsylvania, and you know, definitely not by any kind of metropolis, but there are Bitcoin, you know, vending machines here.
right? That's
You
amazing,
know,
isn't it?
so yeah, so I mean, it's not going away. I think if anything, it's going to continue to grow. I think, you know, the government kind of threw us a curveball with, you know, the tax season, and then, you know, the economy being the way it is. I think we're seeing, you know, pullback because of all that. But eventually it will turn around, and because it has in the past. You know, history repeats itself, and that's something that is inevitable. So if you look at the
Absolutely.
yeah, if you look at the charts from, you know, the last time that Bitcoin pumped and the time before that and the time before that, you'll notice that the lulls between those pumps are getting shorter. So, you know, that means that more people are becoming more aware of it. And the more they become aware, the more they're going to, contribute to the space. Um, and, like yourself, you're taking a unique avenue with your project where you're incorporating real estate into, cryptocurrency, and you're doing it in a very appealing way. Our personal goal here, for Heroes is we actually are going to be launching a real live product line that is going to be useful to, people like yourself in the real estate industry, or, in any industry where information gets exchanged, and that product's going to be available to everybody. And
Oh,
it's,
tell me more. Do we know about this, or this is a
I don't know
uh,
if you may have heard about it, but it's called Apparition.
okay?
Um, we've
I
been,
have not heard
kind of,
about it, by the way.
what's that?
So I haven't heard about it yet.
Oh, okay. So, what it is it's a NFC technology, so near field communication. And what I found is, in this space that we live in the real world, what we are confronted with is people being, afraid of contact, being afraid of, handing things to other people because of COVID. And now, monkeypox is coming, around, and you're seeing all these different things that scare people about, germs and things of that nature. So this is a way for people to transmit and exchange their information to each other without actually making any kind of physical contact. So it will be in many different forms. We're starting off with a limited line of products, including a business card, custom business cards, uh, tap tags that you can attach to your phone, uh, pop sockets, but they're all incorporated with that NFC technology that you can use our app that we're developing. And the iOS is complete. We are finishing up the Android version very soon, hopefully within the next week or two. I think it should be sooner than that. And then we got to do some testing. But once that's ready to go, it's essentially you put your information on the app, and then that app allows you to take any one of our tags and write that information to that tag. And with that, and that tag could be a card, it could be, a pop socket. We have like little NFC chips that are small enough that you can put on your fingernail for the ladies or anybody who paints their fingernails, and paint over it and use your fingernail as your business card. And as soon as your card goes in a near, or close to a mobile device, every mobile device since iPhone 6 is able to read this card, and it will automatically pop up a icon on your screen. You tap on it, and it brings up all that information on the recipient's screen, and they can save it to their contacts. They can, do whatever. They can actually sign up with their own account through the app and save within the app the contacts. So you have it at a quick reference. And so it's going to have a lot of different functions as far as being able to exchange information. But there's more to it than that. You can, actually, we were talking about it that, you go to a lot of these restaurants and they have you scan a QR code. Well, it could do the same thing as that, where instead of scanning, you just tap your phone next to it or hold your phone next to it, and it'll read it and bring it up on your mobile device. There can be emergency medical information. It could be, what do you call it? A tag for your dog's collar or pet's collar, that if it gets lost, all the person who finds it has to do is, hold their device up to that tag, and it'll bring up the pet's address and owner's contact information. So there's a lot of different functions and uses for it. And like I said before, it's not a new technology. It's just something that we don't feel has been widely adopted. And it is something that is becoming more widely adopted. If any of you have gotten a credit card that has that tap feature, same technology. And it's something that is starting to, get widespread within, that avenue of use. This is actually putting it on a more personal level. And we will be able to do all kinds of things with it, including, put your NFTs on it. It's really, really neat.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If your device sounds like it's going to be smaller than what AirTag is, right? With the Apple AirTag, and if that is the case, I'll be the first one online to get that because my dog gets out quite a bit, and any chance
Yeah.
he gets, he will be just running out, right? And he does not like the AirTag for some odd reason. You put the AirTag on, and he's just weird. He just doesn't want to move. Like he thinks something's like on him, and he just can't move. I don't know why. It's probably mental, but no, that's amazing. That's I'm very happy to hear that you guys have something like this coming up, and we do need more of that technology. You know, what's interesting is that when I was in England 2 months ago during the launch, and one thing they mentioned, like, I would, anytime I went somewhere, I would take out my card and like at a restaurant and I would give it to them. They go like, oh, no, 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 we don't touch your card. They bring this stuff to you and you tap it or, touchless, right? And one of them mentioned to me one time, like, what's with you guys? Like, you guys just hand your credit card to anybody you want and you have no idea what's happening with them, when they bring it back to you. It's like, that is a good point. So no, that's great. I mean, that's just one of the aspect of it, right? Yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing that. I haven't heard of it. That's great. So sounds like in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you guys will be functioning 100%.
So we have, like I said, we have a limited line of products that are branded for heroes. Those are, for the most part, completed. We're waiting for one more item to come, and they'll be ready for market. So, once that happens, it's just a matter of having the app completed. I'd really like to have the app ready to go before the products get released, just because I want them to be able to use our app and to use the tags. I mean, there's other apps out there that you can write our tags with, but um,
Okay.
I really, think that we're putting all this effort into making sure the code and everything is right on our product, and that we want to make sure that it all gets released at the same time. So yeah, it's going to be very soon. The products are ready for the most part. We're waiting on one more thing, which is a bracelet that I actually I test marketed all this stuff when I was in New York for NFT NYC, and it went over better than I was thinking it was going to go over. It just people were in all over it. I gave a few of them away, and as I gave them away, I wrote their information on our tag so that they had it to share, and they were just amazed at how easy, how simple, and how great it was, and how easy it was to transfer their information to somebody else. So yeah, I really believe it's a good product, and we're going to market it to people that are not necessarily in crypto. I mean, of course, everyone that is in the space will make sure that we pump out enough there to let them know it's available, but we're going to
For sure.
target people like in your industry, in the real estate industry, and sales in the corporate level. And we're doing that because we want to bring people into this space, and we feel like having that product that someone might buy because they find a real world use for, and then through the app they notice that, hey, what's this Heroes Token LLC, and they click on it and it brings them into our space, right? And now they're wondering, what crypto's all about, or they might pop into our Telegram or Discord, and just ask questions. So
Oh no,
I
and that's the whole idea, right? I think the fact that you guys are gonna go out and beside crypto, and we need to do that, right? We need to bring the rest, everybody else who's not involved in crypto, introduce to them this space. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do as well, trying to combine the two worlds, real estate and crypto. That's our goal on our side. And you guys are doing something similar with a different product.
Yep, that's right. Dr. Crypto, I'm sorry. I saw you've had your hand up forever.
Oh,
How you doing, buddy? Dr. Crypto, are you with us?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I have a question for Mike about REIToken.
go for it,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, Mike. I would like to know because I have been in this project for almost like the launch day because I was able to stake your token. Um, but the thing is, I'm wondering is I've seen a couple of video. I was wondering if what's the plan about marketing and everything. I know we are in bear market, but I would like to know as soon as something is, we start seeing some good news. What is your plan actually?
No, first of all, thank you for being involved in our project. Really appreciate that. And I'm glad you got in the very beginning and staked your token. But hopefully, you're getting some return on that. I think we're giving back, like not giving back. The token itself is getting average of 15 to 16% right now, which is great. So as far as marketing, and that is something that we're tackling as much as possible. And because it is a bear market, we are making sure that marketing dollar is being spent the most efficient way, right? Because the marketing dollars that we do have for the project, it is at the end of the day investors' money. So we want to make sure it's being handled properly, it's being spent wisely. And we are spending it as wisely as possible. We have done publications. I don't know if you have seen it. The 519 different news channels it went to just about 2 weeks ago. We are getting ready to do more video marketing, especially through TikTok or other video channels that we can get on right now. So that's being worked on as we speak. And of course, other market things that we have done, just getting people into our Telegram, getting more people to follow on Twitter. And some of those are not always the best because we end up getting a lot of spam through that as well. So we're actually getting away from that a little bit for now, for the time being. And those things doesn't cost a lot of money, but it does create some interest on the project, or at least the name itself, they're getting out there, right? So we are working on that, and we're working on partnerships with other companies. And I'm not talking about crypto necessarily. I'm talking about our industry that related to real estate, mortgage companies, other real estate professionals or influencers outside of crypto that can bring more outside investor to the space, and not just for real estate token itself, for other project as well. So we are working on step by step. It's going to take a little bit of time to get the results that we really want, but we're getting there. And just like Scott mentioned, we do have a floor right now, which is good. We're going sideways. We go up and down a little bit. Not much happening at the moment, and we are working on getting more volume, because more volume that comes in, more money that will come towards marketing as well. So more money that we can spend moving forward. And we're always asking our investors to talk to your friends and family and share this token or knowledge about this token as much as possible. We have not done 100x or anything like that as much as I would like to, but I think I'm also liking the fact that we are growing organically as much as possible. We're spending money on marketing, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't come to fruition as quickly as we want. And not only that, some of the marketing that I have seen in the past for other projects where it's a pump and dump, and that's not something we wanted, because that's when investors' money in jeopardy, right? If you buy it when it's being pumping really hard and all of a sudden everybody else is selling. Now, investors that lose money. I'm hoping none of the investors that we have so far lost any big amount of money, because we haven't had that kind of pump yet since the launch, right? So,
Yeah.
but we're gonna get there. Hang tight. More marketing is on the way. More partnerships on the
Okay.
way.
Okay, Mike. Yeah, I can see that I'm right in front of the chart. The chart is doing pretty well. You have some kind of resistance. I think most of people in the project believe in this project. That's why they are hanging tight. Another thing is, when do you think? I mean, I'm looking how my investment. I can maybe DCA or increase my position. I have two questions for you. The first question: do you think that one day I can buy a house with this? I mean, in your company.
And that is a good question, and that is something um, I would like to see that happen personally. I would like to see that happen personally with the token itself. And that's one of the reasons we're creating the securities token that will allow us to buy and sell properties and collect income from it, right? So, our goal right now is to connect the two tokens in a way where we can both benefit. So, securities from the securities token, this REIT token will benefit as well, because REIT token will be the owner of that token, at least 25% of it. So when there's properties being purchased and revenue comes in for those properties, 25% of the profit will go towards this particular token. I'm a little off subject right now from what you asked me, but I have a point, I promise.
Okay,
So what will happen is that when that money comes to REIToken, we'll have two options, and these options will be dictated by the regulations that are coming down the pipeline. When money comes into the LLC, we will have the option to purchase our own token back with that LLC, or give the money back to the holders of this token. Well, especially the ones that are staked, right? So that would be the goal. So those are two different options. Now, that will just depend on what the regulations say when the time comes. Now,
okay, Mike.
now,
Yeah, very interesting for me for investment perspective. Because I'm looking if we can have an utility like that. I'm in California. Houses are really expensive. So I was wondering, your company is uh, around all US, or and I know some places are much more affordable. I think
yes,
with I don't know 300 k in some location you can buy. In California it's really difficult with 300. So I'm
it
looking,
is.
yeah, I'm looking to see which states your company are actually, and do you manage properties?
So I personally don't manage properties myself. My company does. My company has locations throughout the Southern California, but we're connected to. Um, we just partner up. Our company just partner up with another company who's pretty much everywhere in the United States. So we can definitely reach out and help with as wherever you might be, and at least get you the information that you need. And you could message me separately on that, wherever you are. And if you need some advice on that, I'd be more than happy to help you on the side about that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, so your main question was, can you buy properties with real estate token in the future? Reality, the simple answer is yes, right? And I had this conversation with the California real estate department already about this a few months back. So I was like, hey, can anybody stop me from buying properties with digital currency? Well, the simple answer is, if a seller is willing to accept that, then there's no issue. So whatever cryptocurrency you want to buy your property with in the future, you're going to be able to, as long as the seller accepts it.
Fantastic. I mean, I love what I'm hearing here, because maybe this is a possibility for me here to have a house. I think I love the fact that we are few here. So people, you just hear from the horse mouths. So do what you have to do. I'm not financial advisor, but Mike, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Crypto. Really appreciate the questions, and feel free to reach out. Send me a private message. I'm happy to help you with any real estate questions.
Yeah, those were great questions, and the one that I hear a lot is, how are you marketing? And I think we kind of went over that earlier with how we're doing that, but a lot of people don't look at it as marketing. So, like yourself, where REIToken is going and, going into the real estate market and bringing the project awareness there, that is a form of marketing. Whether you realize it or not, you're actually introducing cryptocurrency to people that maybe are only invested in real estate, or maybe are home buyers, or maybe are, only looking for, a rental property or whatever it may be.
Right.
By integrating that aspect into your project, that is a form of marketing, and it's more powerful than I think people realize. And that's just because it's bringing new people into the space, or at least getting them to explore the space, right? And that's why we like doing these types of spaces, so people that don't know what's going on, or what to look for, or you know we want to give them a positive experience of what crypto can be, not a negative experience of people bashing each other, right?
Absolutely. No, and you know what? I've been so lucky in the ever since our token launch, and ever since I've been on your channel here, almost every either AMA or the introduction on a Twitter space, it's been nothing but positive. I've seen some spaces before where you go in there, it's just like a war zone, but these has been very educational for myself and hopefully for others as well. So no, that's really helpful. And we are, the whole goal is to bring as many people as possible to this space, because I'm sure you see this, Scott, just as much as I do. It's the same money gets circulated around from project to project to project, right? Whenever a new project gets launched, somebody's selling a current investment they already have, they're selling that to buy this one and then jumping onto another one when another new project comes on. And they're just jumping around. And because there isn't enough investors to go around, to be honest, and not even enough money to go around right now. So we need more investors to come into this space, and more we help educate people, more we bring other people into this space, better it will be, because we need more new investors in this space regardless. And to make this space a little more better, just simply, just we need to make this space as better as possible. I don't know what else to say on that, because I've actually left some project in the past because there was too much drama. And here's the reality: in real life investors, like institutional investors, they don't care about drama. They really don't. They're not even any of that, right? And we need to get there. We need to get there, and we need to bring certainty to this space. And a lot of people don't want to be in crypto because there is no certainty. There's a lot of scams going on, and a lot of people not even sharing who they are, right? And our team is docs, your team is docs, Scott, and there's more project that's coming on right now. They're pretty much all docs, which is amazing. So we can bring certainty, and not only that, certainty with real life utility, just like you're doing right now, Scott, just like we are, and so some of the other projects are doing. We need to bring more real life utility to this space rather than just meme coins, because meme coin has no value to it. You know, reality is that when Bitcoin was created, Bitcoin doesn't have any utility, but it's so many people in it. I'm gonna cut off here. I get a phone call. Can you guys hear me still?
Yep, I can hear you. You cut out there for a little bit, but
anyway,
right after Bitcoin.
I'll cut that short. But so much institutional money is in Bitcoin right now that people feel comfortable in that, and there's so much money that you can't move that chart as quickly as possible. You need a lot of money to move that chart up or down. And same thing with Ethereum, right? You and I, with individually, we can't move that chart as much because there's so much institutional money right now. But no, our goal is to bring more certainty to this space. And one of the best way that we can do that right now is educating people and also connecting something real in life to this digital currencies. And one of the best things that I could think of in the past was, or even now, real life product, which is real estate. We're not making more of this in the world. This is it. What we have is what we have in this world. And once we connect that with regulations, of course, and that's why it's going to take a little bit of time. Once we connect that, I think more people are going to be jumping into this space without even questioning, because they know it's going to be real, and it's going to be more certainty, and there's going to be more consistency, just like a lot of the stock market is, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, stock market has its ups and downs too, but a lot of people will be jumping on that before they can jump on crypto, or before they feel comfortable about jumping on crypto. So yeah, that's where I'll end. So ask me any questions, I can talk about that all day long, regarding the chart and the different type of investments, but we're here to help and answer any questions. And I'm very happy to see, I'm a little surprised. I didn't even know about your new project, the new product that you guys are releasing. I'm very, very happy to hear that. I'm looking forward to that.
That's not all that's coming, but yeah, we got a bunch of stuff that's lined up to be released here very shortly. But yeah, that's the closest one that we have coming up. So
well, you have been busy. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, that's it. I feel like, showing what we can do and not just talking about it, because, anybody can talk and it'll pump your chart for a week, and then everyone wants to know, well, when's it coming?
Right.
And it might be 3 weeks out. So I'd much rather get to the point where we're at, where, we are just fine tuning, that app, and the products are all made, and we're just waiting for one product to arrive, which is in shipping right now. And, now we can start talking about it, right?
That's awesome.
Because it's real.
That's awesome.
Right? Yeah. So, that's it. Nothing in this space is quick. I mean, when we went to our V2 and introduced in-token staking, I mean, that process started back in the beginning of December, and we didn't launch V2 or even make the announcement until the end of January. So, and then we launched in mid-February. I mean, it's something that it takes time to do it right and to make sure that all your bases are covered.
Absolutely.
So people have to understand that, when a major corporation like, Microsoft or Apple or Sony, they come out with a new product, well, they're not talking about that product until they've done all the R&D. They've created a prototype. They have it ready and set for production, and they're ready to release it. That's when you hear about it, right? You don't hear about it before then. They just don't talk about it. In this space, it's a little different because you're dealing with a lot of people that are fairly new to, how to introduce product. And they don't realize that their ideas are fantastic and they may have started it, but as soon as they make that announcement, well, now the consumer wants it, right? And if they can't produce it, that creates FUD. And FUD dumps their chart, and it ultimately hurts everybody. So, I believe that things have to be released in a timely fashion and when it's ready. And, with what Mike's doing and real estate, that is all in their vision and their white paper. That is their business plan. And they are moving towards that goal. And the big hangup is going through all the white tape that the government's throwing at them. And there's a lot of white tape there, creating a security token.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
only if I could tell you about the meetings that I had with the lawyers regarding those. It was just like I was getting shut down from left and right, and it was just like every turn that we took, there was just no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I was just like, guys, we're not, trying to scam anything, or we're not doing anything bad. But like, no, they just won't let you do that. Even if you do it today, you will get in trouble 6 months down the road. So every idea that we had in the past, they just turned it down, but for all good reasons, right? Because we want to make sure it's a project that can sustain long term, not just short term.
That's right. And it's a process.
Yep.
So, you're working towards that goal, and, I'm sure you're going to hit it. You're taking all the right steps. Paperboy, how you doing?
Good evening, guys. Mike, I just had a question. Do you feel like regulations are going to be the biggest roadblock to tokenized real estate and to the REIToken?
To be honest, I'm not against the regulations. If anything, I'm for it because we need some regulation in this space, right? In order to bring more people into the space that can feel safe. Right now, a lot of people don't feel safe on this. But tokenizing real estate shouldn't be an issue. But once we get approved with the SEC one time, after that, tokenizing actual real property and have other tokens on that ecosystem won't be an issue. It's just going to be the first initial approval that's going to be the main hurdle. But even then, as long as we do exactly what they're asking us to do, we shouldn't have any issue with that.
It's funny that you say that because I'm on the East Coast, so there's like a couple of different tokenized real estate projects along with mine, and they've actually gotten property up. So there's a company out in Miami, Florida. It's called Housebit. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They just tokenized. It's called the Loft downtown. I believe it's 3,000 tokens at $363.84. And that's on Polygon. So I'm just thinking and just listening around, obviously, and doing research and all that stuff into the space. And like the biggest thing that I've been seeing is that it seems like regulations, just the looming, like that kind of like the hammer coming down on everything is what's kind of keeping the creativity, boxed in that sense when it comes to this stuff. I really believe in like the idea of fractionalized ownership because the way that everything's going now economically, the ownership is kind of getting eviscerated. And so with what you can do with tokenized real estate in the sense of infinitesimally creating ownership through fractional ownership, it's like, we're talking about, ownership of certain assets that our ancestors never even had the opportunity to. And so, it's so interesting to hear a different project's perspective on the space, and especially from your perspective too, with being able to utilize the charts and the financial markets. So appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate the question on this. And there's another company that's doing similar thing to what you just mentioned. It's called Proppy. I had the pleasure of meeting them, and they are doing something similar as well, where they're tokenizing properties, and they're not selling it fractionally. They're actually selling the houses by tokenizing, but also not tokenizing. I'm sorry, with NFTs. I stand corrected. They're just making NFTs out of those properties, and they're selling it that way. I think one of their last properties sold like in 12 minutes, which is amazing. But they did have all the information prior to regarding the property. I think they had a couple of weeks to do some investigation on the property and all that. And when it was released, it sold in 12 minutes and way over asking. But, everything was selling in the last couple of years for over asking. But I think that's going to change in the next few months. Very few properties will do that.
Have you heard of the company Picasso, the PACASL?
Yes. Actually, they're in our town. So Picasso is actually having issues because depending on where you go to, right? If you're just buying a single family home, and they're not even tokenized, right? They're just a normal company, just fractionalizing with the LLC. I think they're breaking their LLC into 8 different parts. But the moment they go into a homeowner association, there's issue. And they're already having those issues because homeowner association, they don't want that. So that what they did was they figured out how to almost Airbnb style, but not exactly, without actually doing an Airbnb. A lot of these communities don't allow that. Like Airbnb is getting tougher and tougher to do. More, in the future, even where we are today, most of the cities are not giving licenses for that anymore because too many neighbors are complaining. But Picasso is definitely an interesting company, and those are a great idea as long as the housing development don't have any issues with that. So I think we'll have the same issues tokenizing and fractionalizing properties in the future as well. And that won't be the SEC's regulation. That's going to be the real life homeowner association or whatever community you're in. They might have those issues. So we'll have to overcome those particular issues. And, when you have, let's say one property has, 20 different owners, and it's a single family home or a condo, and how do you manage that? Unless it's just a strictly income property where it's just becoming a rental. But if you're sharing that property with a bunch of owners, it could become an issue. But those kind of things, we'll definitely deal with it individual basis for sure. But that will have nothing to do with the actual regulation. It'll be more localized.
Nah, I agree. For me, what stands out to me the most in this, with this concept is that I think that it's really geared for real estate developers and development companies and corporations. The ones that are having the most success right now are actually development companies, most specifically the Pacific Carlton Development Corporation out in New York City. There is also a building listed for like 27 million in Brooklyn for 27 million ETH. Actually, I believe it was like 3 months ago. But it's like I'm just like paying attention to these different corporations and what they're trying to do, and it seems like I think the developers want to get ahead and acquire the property,
yeah,
and then from there acquire the technology.
And and that's another thing that our main goal is right now, not so much towards single family homes or condos, anything like that. That's more mainly towards high price commercial properties. Let's say you could go buy a Walgreens if it's one for sale, let's say for $10 million, and normal person just can't go buy that today, right? Because it's very expensive, even though they give you good return and long-term rental and all that. So our goal is to tokenize those kind of product, or at least have income coming from it, so you can get passive income on the long run, right? So those kind of things will have less issues moving forward than single family or condos, because those are going to be strictly a corporate style structure rather than owner-occupied structure.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the owner-occupied is like probably, I would say, like 4 or 5 years down the road, just because of, I think that there's some geniuses that are going to be sitting down in front of their computers and working out some things with the smart contracts.
Yeah,
that's really going to redefine what it means to own your home. And also like own your asset, because like again, like I said, like the biggest thing for me is the fractional ownership, or even just the ownership in general,
right?
From what the networks give you, what the actual purpose of crypto is, and so I think what's going to happen too is in today's market, like I think tokenized real estate is truly the hedge against the real estate market, in the sense that you're creating an alternative market value, and so now you can say if this bear market was happening during a time where we had tokenized real estate, where if you wanted to list your property for crypto and there was an actual market for you, where you could actually attract buyers and sellers, we're talking about people who could flip a house that's worth $850,000 and on the regular market, and flip it for maybe like $750,000. And that's an actual example I got. The gentleman's name is Farhan Naman. He's the VP of Digital Asset Security at MasterCard. He's actually got a tokenized real estate program too called Art Earth. And so, the thing that resonated with me that he told me was, he was like, dude, like, I would never take the cash, like that real estate transaction offer. I would never take that. I would take the crypto. So give me the 750,000 in Ethereum. And I think that's where we're going to start seeing more people wake up to, is that there's a better store of value than US dollars for equity of line of credit than there is in with actual crypto behind your asset. I mean, obviously that's all subjective to some people, but I agree too. I think it's the same deal.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I would take that money in crypto over cash any day. Or even if I got the cash, I'll go buy crypto with it. I didn't need to use that money,
Yeah,
right? And that's exactly what I would do. And one of the other benefits that they have today, especially fractionalizing, actually Picasso did a pretty good job with this. So let's say property is worth $1 million, right? And the reason I say that because most of the properties they buy around here is about that price range. But when you are fractionalizing with 8 different people, then each fraction could be like, let's say, a little over $200,000 or something like that. And that $1 million property, all of a sudden they're getting 1.4, 1.5 without really doing much to it. All they did was maybe furnish the property or remodel a little bit or just make it look a little nicer. So they're getting more money by fractionalizing and just rather than selling to one individual owner. So that's another thing they're doing today. I think Picasso definitely figured out a way how to do that, but I don't know how much longer they're gonna. Well, they'll be okay as long as they stay out of like in some particular neighborhoods throughout the country.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I see them in New York City, so they're doing more like luxury rental apartments and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I think this is I mean, just with the renters market alone too. I think that's really where the red flag is for this. I think that's like the solution for tokenized real estate is really the rental market, just because of how volatile it is right now. I mean, you got people who make $50,000 paying a $1,500 rent, and when you do the math, that's like about around like 35% of their total income.
Oh, it's great return, isn't it?
Yeah, return if you're the
if you're the owner, right?
But I'm speaking more in terms of the actual renter itself.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, we need to create better not even opportunities, but better alternatives for where you can put your money into, especially when it comes to the place that you live in. And I think there needs to be just not like complete control into the renter's hands, but I think there just needs to be a little bit more control for the renters in terms of that, so that they don't get screwed over. That's why I think smart contracts are so important for the renters market, because it's set defined terms, and when you agree to those, when you make the agreement, it's like you're locked into that. So I think that's super important when it comes to you could look at the leasing. I'm sure you've seen leasing agreements and different things like that, and I'm sure you've heard horror stories about renting, and I'm sure we all have.
But the another thing that we're trying to do, I don't know if you had a chance to look at our white paper, is to help people with down payment assistance programs so they can go get a mortgage rather than renting, right? And
would they borrow with their crypto?
Well, that option's going to be depending on the situation. Depending on the going to be situation, right? So, but you will see so many families and young couples or older couples, doesn't matter who they are, they have the ability to pay monthly mortgage or rent, because rent is more expensive today than actual mortgages. So if they can pay rent, they can actually pay a mortgage. But problem is, people usually don't have that kind of cash saved up to actually putting a down payment, because there's no such thing as zero down payment today, right? We had that back before 2008, and that's one of the reasons we got into that market and crashed and burned, and we're still, we recovered very well since then. But nowadays it doesn't exist. So people have income and they can pay, but they just don't have the money saved up. And with all this inflation and cost of living going up with everything, they just don't have that. So we are creating a foundation that's going to help those families to be able to get out of rental and be able to own real property, so they can start building their own wealth.
There's a mortgage group actually out of White Plains, New York. It's called the Quintessential Mortgage, and they're allowing you to get approved up to 90% of your crypto portfolio for a mortgage.
Yeah,
so and that's how they're sliding into the game.
I would like to see the small print on that. What if the crypto market goes down, right? What are they doing with that? Because it's a bit volatile overall, but I'm glad. So that's how a lot of these mortgage companies are going into it. Like we're in talks with a few mortgage company right now to be able to help us with this process and with this foundation going into the future. So now a lot more things to come. I'm glad you're on it. Sounds like you're super knowledgeable. You're doing your homework, and that's amazing.
Heck yeah, man. We're just trying to create the future, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like Paperboy has your own project, right? You're CEO.
I do. It's called REDX. So we're a tokenized real estate program, but we're actually more focused on commercial properties in the New York tri-state area.
Awesome.
Okay.
East Coast. I'm East Coast too. I'm in PA. But
oh, nice. I'm actually based in Connecticut. I literally drive to Brooklyn every day.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. You can imagine that.
So
yeah,
we got coast to coast covered. West Coast, East Coast. Who's in the middle? Do we have anybody in the middle?
Yeah, right. We're our Indiana guys.
Or Texas. Nobody here. Okay, maybe next time.
Yeah, agro's not in here. But yeah, Paperboy, if you want to join this space at some point in the future, hit me up on a DM, and we can talk about your project, and we can hold a space where you're the focus of it.
Yeah, would love to do that. I got a lot of great connections in Web3. Shout out to Flinch NFT and Cameron Van Hoy, excuse me. We're really just trying to create a community around the art and the philosophy of these projects, and then couple it up with the knowledge with the financial markets and stuff, and just again create alternative markets for people. Just try to and let's stop talking about all of the traditional markets and what they do to us and how they make us suffer, blah blah blah, and let's create a future that we actually want to be in.
Absolutely. Nice.
Yeah. Well,
all right, guys.
Paperboy,
enjoy your night. I'm
we
about to
should
step off.
connect as well. I would love to find out more about your project. I haven't. I just followed you back, so I'll check it out, and we'll connect and see if we can network between the real estate projects.
Heck yeah, we got to connect these coasts, man.
Exactly.
We're not Biggie and Tupac.
Sounds
nice.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too.
Hey, you too. Wow. So that was very in depth, Mike.
Yeah. I love those conversations. I'm actually glad that people have these questions, because I'll tell you one thing, because I feel like I repeated myself so much in the last few months with the same thing over and over and over. So when I get these kind of questions, it's actually amazing. I get excited. And, our Paperboy definitely knew what he was talking about. He talked about the companies and stuff. Those kind of things actually excites me more than anything else. So, no, it's amazing.
No, absolutely. And it did. It went off in a different direction than I've ever heard you talk about before, especially with REIToken. And it was very interesting, the points that he was making, and some of the possibilities there.
Yep.
And I think he has a very good point. You look at what you can go to the store and buy with, at least here in the States, the US dollar, and what you could buy 3 years ago, right?
Right.
And it's totally different. So you look at that in relation to real estate, and the real estate values are going up because the dollar value is going down, where in crypto, that value is determined by the mass population of the world.
Yep.
Whoever's invested in crypto. So, it's almost in essence a more stable, overall idea of what value should be. But that's a topic for another discussion.
No doubt.
There's a whole way you could take that and twist it around and go back to it. And that's another 2-hour conversation right there. I can see it. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but no, that was awesome, man. I loved everything that you shared. Any closing statements, unless we have any other one that wants to pop up and ask another question?
Yeah, and does anybody have any questions? I mean, that was great questions between Dr. Crypto and Paperboy. That was amazing. Closing statement. Take a look at our project, read our white paper, questions. We are trying to bring certainty to the uncertain space right now, right, and bringing consistency with real life utility. And just like you are, Scott, we all have the similar vision right now moving forward, and we're gonna get there. I think we'll get there sooner than what we think. Right now, time doesn't feel like it's moving as fast, but we're gonna look back, 6 months or a year from now and talk about this particular conversation that we had, and we're going to be in a much different space at that moment with all these things already accomplished, or at least majority of it, right? So yeah, just stick with us, ask us questions, help us through this project, help Heroes Project, help our project, and help any project that's doing something real with the real life utility, and help us all to become better than what we are today.
Absolutely. Well said. And, I want to just say that you have projects like this where you have a lead dev up here in front willing to answer any question. And the questions that he got tonight were pretty hard. I know I threw some really tough ones at him the last time he was on. And without missing a beat, Mike answered them on point. And that's what you should expect from any crypto project, is a team that can give you a response. And if they don't know the answer, they can get back to you with that answer in a timely fashion, right? But most solid projects are like how Mike answered his questions tonight. He was asked the question, he responded, and he responded with a valid answer. And that's what I like to see. I love projects that can do that. It just shows they are truly in this, and they're looking out not only to make their project succeed, but to also look out for their community. Because, I know with Heroes, that's what our dev team is. We are doing everything that we're doing to look out for our community, because we feel obligated to succeed to benefit them. That's why we implemented our in-token staking. That's why we're coming out with Apparition. That's why we have the League of the Lost in, our wake, getting ready to come forward. And, along with that, a boatload of other things that are just lined up and are on our roadmap that we revised about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And it is all to benefit our community. It is all to move our project forward. And it's for Heroes at least, it's to succeed with our goal of continuing to contribute to worldwide charities through donations. And, with Mike, hear the passion in his voice when he talks. And, his goal is to get people into houses, is to get his investors, reaping the benefits of real estate. And I know that he's going to succeed. I mean, everything I've heard him say, the team that he has behind him, I feel like it's a solid project. And I want to thank Mike and REIToken again for joining us. I know the space wasn't
Thank you again for having us.
Yeah. I know the space wasn't as full as we'd like to, but I understand there was another space going on that was taking up a big chunk of the community that would normally show up here. And but they can come back and they can listen to all this great information that we shared tonight. And by all means, Mike, whenever you want to pop in, we hold these spaces every Thursday. I can bring you up and you can help contribute to whatever project we have up here.
Absolutely. No, I'll jump in again in the future for sure. Thank you again for having us. And you know what? Whether the space was 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, doesn't matter. As long as we're able to get the word to even a smaller amount of people, is better than nothing, right? And that's great. And thank you for having this space. And you guys are being super consistent with this, which is amazing. You're here every Thursday night. So kudos to you, man. I know that's not the easy thing to do, but you guys are doing it.
Well, yeah, it is tough, and it's been tougher since the market went down. But you know what? I feel like the projects that are coming on are even more worthwhile looking at, because those are the projects that are active right now. And that's what I want to look at, is the projects that are active in a space where the market is so red. Those are the projects that are going to succeed, and they're the ones that are going to take off in the next bull run. And again, not that I need to share that. That's not financial advice. That's my personal opinion. So,
no, I appreciate it. Thanks
absolutely.
for having us again.
Yep. Hey, thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.